Welcome back, YouTubers, to my channel of an everyday life of an Aspie. If you're following me right now and you're new to my channel, I welcome you all. I'm Aspie. I'm all about creating mental health and awareness and sharing my life stories with Asperger's syndrome, OCD, and the like. I also give you guys some tips and advice along the way with how to manage and cope with your everyday personal struggles of your mental health or general health in general, based on my research versus my life experiences and training, regardless what it may be. So it has been come to my attention also as a disclaimer that I'm no medical doctor. I'm just your normal everyday Joe Blogs going about her everyday life, no matter what it may be. That's just to share her stories and life experiences and taking you all on a journey. So if you see any warning signs and symptoms in regards to some of the health topics I have been sharing, be it the mental health and general health in general, of any warning signs and symptoms, do seek professional help for yourself or your loved one, or seeking advice for yourself or your loved one. Forever don't condone self-harm. So this has been brought to my attention as of late, obviously, of some of the things that I have been trying to promise you folks, but as time permitting, as I said, due to my research, it has taken its toll, and that we know that sometimes when it comes down to researching, it does, take over our time period of whatever it may be. So this one's obviously are all hopefully autistic related, and some may not be, depending, regardless where I'm laying it for these next few topics over to introduce to you guys, obviously. And this one especially is, as promised, the DSM-5 manual, bringing out some bits and pieces into it, as well as just maybe some of the guideline of diagnosing autism spectrum disorders and whatnot here in New Zealand, especially based on some maybe statistical facts, as well as just bringing out just the information that you guys may need and inquire, and also just to bear in mind though, even though I'm living in New Zealand, I have been in the past doing it in relevancy of the American statistics of certain everyday topics, be it health related or whatnot, but that's how I rolled, obviously, and I humbly apologise to any of my New Zealand viewers that maybe want the specifics, details of maybe the statistical facts based in New Zealand, which hopefully I will be able to give it to you somehow in a form of the later stages or what have you. And also in saying that, just bear in mind that some of this, just to respect what I say regardless, because as I said, some of this that I'm sharing is based on my knowledge and experience, as well as my training versus everything else in between of those two key factors, because at the end of the day, everyone goes through their everyday life, whatever it may be, so to speak, and I feel that we need to be just treating with each other with respect and care, obviously. So this one's obviously going to be a quick overview of the New Zealand Autism Spectrum Disorder Guideline overview, obviously, and I humbly apologise once again. So hopefully you're liking some of these videos. Smash that like button that you are, and also engaging with me, and hopefully you're learning something along the way as I educate you all and teach you something along the way as a teacher, mentor, whatever you want to call me. That was a label. So as you know, basically there is a guideline that is in New Zealand for people on the autism spectrum disorder, even though, well, as I said before, autism spectrum disorders come in a range of under that umbrella, that I think I have clearly shown you guys this umbrella, how it's broken down into all these different variations of different parts of autism and whatnot. If not, I'll clearly find that video and link it up to this description. But for now, this guideline, however, provides evidence that is evidence-based type information for people on the spectrum, as well as their family, health and disability, educational professionals, as well as some of the social services agencies that hopefully will be readily available here in New Zealand to help meet and reach these goals and aims for people on the spectrum. This also includes some delicate information about good practice that is evidence-based, however, as well as the aims to improve health, educational and social outcomes for people that has autism spectrum disorders. As part of the implementation of this guideline, of the one that has been brought out from the Ministry of Health and Education, which I'll link the link so you guys can grab a copy of this so to speak, so you can read through it if you want to, just to bear in mind it's not for the faint-hearted and that, but hopefully it will give you guys a clearer overview of this, that will hopefully establish or show a living guideline process to regularly update the guidelines to reflect new evidences and change user needs, because every need is different for people on the autism spectrum disorder. As I said before, the high and low functioning labels, which try not to use that too much, because I know on my autistic community many people don't want to hear these terms. So again guys, if you're hearing that word, I humbly apologize. I'm trying to find another form of word, you know, or terms for us that are different, you know, be it maybe I could call us autistic versus, you know, people with Asperger's syndrome or people with autism. But if you want, if any of you are watching and do have autism, please kindly maybe comment below how you want me to address this when it comes down to those two terms, if you don't want me to use it, so I can be, you know, careful not to tread on anyone's toes. But in the meantime though, however, since the living guideline has been processed and established in 2009 with the supplementary papers, however, these has been published annually for people, you know, on this spectrum and many other health related, you know, topics. These provide updates in areas of applied behaviour analysis, pharmacological interventions, supported employment, changes in the diagnostic criteria in the DSM-5, however, because obviously the DSM-4 and that DSM-4 and 5 now, they've merged some of the stuff together, which I'll clearly illustrate to you all how this diagnostic criteria came about. The gastrointestinal issues, social skills groups, and cognitive behaviour therapies. However, in the second edition of this publication guideline, however, that was obviously published in 2016 of last year, has incorporated the updates developed through the living guideline process. This means that all the amendments to the guideline recommendations that has been identified in the supplementary papers are incorporated into the second edition. The first edition of the guideline actually was published in 2008, so bear with me, I'm sorry. So just the key points, just to illustrate for you all that of interest of the guidelines that you want to know, especially for the ones listed below for the health professionals. Early identification of children with ASD is essential and crucial and important, that will then enable early intervention and then likely to lead better function in the later life. Okay, just to bear in mind though, some key points here to remember, right, for people that are working in this health professional field. There is no cure for ASD. Parents' concerns about their child's development must be taken seriously at all costs. 3. Pathways for people with ASD to access assessment needs to be clearly identified, which obviously this guideline book that I'm going to share with you all more in depth later has described some of these pathways. Number 4, multidisciplinary assessments through specialist ASD services are the best way to improve the diagnosis. Number 5, robust information on effective assessment and diagnosis processes with different age groups are needed. And number 7, health professionals assessing people with ASD needs to be more aware of effective assessment tools and the role of the cognitive assessment available for these people. On the other hand, for people that are working in the education sector, be it teacher aides and teachers and whoever else in that education sector field, needs to bear in mind on these key things. Notes: 1. A single approach or solution is unlikely to ever meet the needs of all learners with ASD. As I said before, many people with autism are different, so it's meeting the needs wherever possible. Educators need to choose approaches that will fit the individual and their settings, and needs to be skilled in providing a range of these interventions in place. Strategies need to be implemented right across home, early childhood education, school and community settings if we are to achieve successful outcomes for children and young people with ASD. Most overseas educational intervention programs are based on 3 broad approaches, which are discrete trial training, DTT, contemporary behavioural and developmental research findings, and 3 developmental social pragmatic approaches. Some programs include elements of all 3. No one approach has been shown to be more effective than one or the other. Current special education practice in New Zealand emphasises participation and development rather than fixing to a child with autism. Teaching children with ASD in isolated settings away from the other children is not best practice, however. Children and young people must be supported to use what they learn in more than just in the one setting as mentioned. The best way to achieve this, however, is for parents, teachers and peers to work collaboratively and together as a team. People providing services and support to children and young people with ASD must have a positive attitude, expertise in ASD and the willingness to work in a team with the family. Young children with ASD should be appropriately engaged in goal-directed activities across a variety of home, educational and community settings for 15 to 25 hours per week. This is a collective responsibility involving families, early childhood education service, early intervention services including educational support workers and community services. It doesn't mean that specialist service providers, however, have to be with the child for all those hours that I have clearly illustrated to you all, but they do need support or need to support and to contribute in accordance with an agreed plan in place. Interventions should be monitored and evaluated on an ongoing basis, however. Changes should be made if there is no evidence of progress within a few months. The principles of positive behaviour support should be incorporated into educational interventions with a focus on understanding the function of the child or young person's behaviours. All transitions should be planned and new environments should be prepared carefully to allow for no meltdowns, no temper tantrums or whatever else people may call it as, so to speak. So this ends quickly of a brief overview of this. Give me a like for thumbs up for support. Comment below. Feel free to follow me on my social media site. Feel free to share these videos around to family and friends. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so if you want to know more and keep up to date. Don't forget to turn the notification bell on. So enough of these guys. Thanks for watching. Do what you love what you do. Until next time, Aspie signing out and I'll see you again soon.